Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about immersive realities. So we are going to talk about augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, and why not, Metaverse. Let me introduce my co-host, buddy in crime, Gianni Rosagallina. Hello, Gianni.
Hello, Clemente. How are you?
Fine. As you know, today we are talking with a really special guest, Anthony Vitillo. Let me
Hey,
in. Okay.
hello, Clemente, hello, Gianni. It's great
Hello,
to be
Anthony.
here with you today.
Before starting, please, Anthony, introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Anthony Tillo. Someone in the communities knows me with this weird name of the Scarred Ghost. And I work with the RMBR since 2014. And I started with my previous partner in crime, that is Gianni Rosagallina, that you can see here. And in these years, I always worked as a developer or similar roles in creating applications like fitness game, for instance, creating virtual events like some concerts with Jean-Michel Jarre that I did on VR chat, and also some frameworks for developer like the full body VR solution that I made at Emotional together with Gianni. Together with my activity as a developer, I also like to, I like to say spam online about my thoughts about VR with my blog that is the Ghost House. So this is me, and I'm happy to be here with you again.
Great. So we know that you attended the last AWA event in USA. There, the major company in this area presented a lot of new devices. Did you have the opportunity to try some things very cool and want to share with us your feedbacks?
Yeah, I had some cool things that I tried. Some were a bit weird, some were really interesting. So I will just start speaking about two things that are probably the two most relevant ones that I tried. The first, let's start with a crazy one, is the Overshoot. That is really a shirt. It's really a shirt made in Spain that it's like a standard shirt, but just with electrodes inside. So basically, you have electrodes in some parts of your body, and the idea of the shirt is to give electrical shocks while you play with virtual reality. And the idea is to make more realistic VR. So when you shot in VR, you really can feel the pain in real life. So I decided to try it because it sounded something pretty crazy. And I confirm it's pretty crazy because it started my experience with a guy having a phone in his hand. I have this shoot on that was also pretty stretch on my body. And he started saying, okay, now you feel a ball hitting your body. Presses a button, I feel an electrical shock like on the chest that makes my muscles to contract. So it's a bit like having vibrational feedback, but with not a motor on the shirt, but with your own muscle vibrating. And then he's saying, now you're getting to feel a knife stabbing you and then rotated in your flesh. I was like, what? And then I started feeling pain in my back, pain in front of my belly, and then something weird vibrating that. So it was like, 10 minutes, quite difficult, while you were calibrating all the pain sensations that I could feel. And it's fun because on one side, you don't want them to be too low. Otherwise, you don't feel anything. But on the other side, you don't want them to also be too powerful. Otherwise, you feel too much pain. So in the end, I tried to stick for a medium level pain. And then after all this demo, he said, now there is the real game. So he gave me an Oculus Quest, and I was in a warehouse with drone robots going around me and shooting me for all directions. So I spent 5 minutes basically feeling electrical shocks on all my torso, my back, on my belly, like contracting. It was a bit like a torture. After that, I had a bit of PTSD. I had to sit down for 10 minutes because it was really a strong experience. I have to say I was happy of having tried it, but it's one of those things that you say, okay, I did it once and that's okay. I can even not try it anymore. I like that there are some companies trying these crazy things, but probably it's hard to create something that, finds the right spot between the entertainment and suffering of the user. So I will say that it is a bit a problem. It's going to launch, by the way, if someone likes to be tortured, end of this year for around $400 or something like that. So if you like to have electrical shocks on all your body, you look for OWO shirt that is coming soon. This is the first experience.
I have a question for you. If you could understand how it works, is it real time when they trigger the event, the action, or is there some delay? One's the question. The other one, how you can implement it in your own games if it's possible, or is there any SDK or something else?
Well, I can't tell you exactly how much was the lag. I was too concentrated in suffering, but it was almost real time. So when I was seeing something shooting me more or less in that period, I could feel the pain. So I can say it's quite real time. And for the SDK, the hardware is not out, but I'm almost sure yes. And I can imagine it being similar to the one of the Behaptic shoot. So imagine that you will have also there is another shoot called Electronica, the similar thing. So all these shoot usually have an SDK in Unity where you can pass something like a sound wave or something like that identifies the amount of energy that the shock must have, and also the location on the body, because he has clear location. So he had the torso, he had the belly, he had the left, right part of the stomach. So I guess there will be an SDK when the thing will launch on Kickstarter.
Do you think that the integration in some games like Hitmotion could give a more cool experience?
With this, no, I'm not going to implement this in our game with motion because I don't want my players to suffer. But actually, I more see the value. I mean, the problem when I tried it, as I said, it's true that probably they haven't chosen the right demo, because it was a continuous sensation of pain. Is too much. I consider it as either for some crazy hard gamers that really want a real experience, but I see more its value actually in the B2B experiences. Like if you want to do some training, and if you make some wrong operation, you feel pain. Like there is an explosion, you feel pain on all your body. So your brain remembers, if you do this wrong operation in this machine, you have pain. And so in real life, you don't want to repeat that error, And so this can make the training more efficient. This is what I think. For gaming, I think that, again, they should find a calibration, because this way is a bit too much for make the game enjoyable. It becomes really something that you enter, survival mode. The pain, the brain doesn't want to feel pain, and so you don't enjoy the game anymore. You don't want to be shot.
Cool. If I remember well, Mojo Vision presented a pair of air glasses, or better, lens glasses.
Yes. Yeah.
Could you tell me more about this new thing?
Yeah. So it's pretty cool, because Mojo is a company which I have good relationship, and since the moment I basically stormed their booth at DW last year without an invitation, because I really wanted to try the hardware. And for people that don't know about Mojo Vision is a company that is making smart contact lens. So really, it's a contact lens, rigid contact lens with all circuitry inside. There is a battery, there is a modem, there is a chip. There are everything to make it. There is a compass and IMU, so that in the contact lens, you have all these electronics and also a display. Sorry, I was forgetting the most interesting part. So there is a tiny thing like this, smaller than a ladybug, that contains a display. And reading about it, I was like, okay, this is crazy, but is it real? So last year I stormed their booth. This year I was there again, and they made me try the lens, but not inside the eye, but on a stick. So I can put it close to the eye, but not inside the eye. And it's incredible because basically this year when I tried it, it was feature complete. So there was already all the electronics inside. They put the lens on my hand. So I was really like, oh my God, here I have a teeny thing and it's a smart contact lens. This is the future. And put it close to my eye. You see this thing with a tiny green dot in, and you don't understand what the green dot is until you put it close to your eye, and the green dot is a display. And you see inside Albert Einstein, you can see inside text. I was able to try a smart teleprompter. If someone of you for sure have tried it, but also someone that is viewing this stream has tried the HoloLens True with the teleprompter that you start reading, and when you arrive at the end, it starts scrolling automatically the text. They made something similar for the smart contact lens. So looking at it, I could read the text, and then when I was pointing towards the last line, it was scrolling automatically. And it was pretty crazy. There was a compass, so I could rotate my head and see north, west, south, written in green environment around me. So that was pretty crazy. And even crazier is that when I returned back home after a few weeks, Mojo contacted me again to say, hey, our CEO has tried the contact lens inside the eye. Do you want to speak with him? And I was like, yes, I want to speak with him. And I wasn't sure if he had still both eyes after trying it, but when the Zoom call started, he had both eyes. So that was a good news. And he told me that he made a test during that lasted for like 1 hour, in which he tried the lens inside the eyes, and then they started booting the system up slowly, because for every problem they should have removed the lens to avoid possible. And everything worked. He managed with the lens in the eye to read the teleprompter. So, and I hadn't told him the text. So he was able to read it, to tell the text, because he was able to read it. So it was a big success for the company. And now the goal they have is to make more tests. And now they are very happy because this test prove one thing, that they can really deliver this smart contact lens. Because before that, lots of people were saying, yeah, cool, but this is never going to work inside the eye. It's too risky, it's too dangerous. And now he did it. So actually, it means that it's doable. Of course, there is the need of more testing, but it's impressive that in 2022, there is a guy that has put a contact lens in the eye and it worked. And it feels like, a sci-fi movie. I'm pretty excited when I speak about it. Of course, I can't wait to have the opportunity to try them myself, because it's so cyberpunk. So, I will love that.
It's also interesting that Mojo Vision was one of 8 companies chosen to be member of Disney's Accelerator program. So important firms are focusing on new technology and are thinking to the entertainment of the next future. Now the technology, I think, is not ready yet, but why not? In 10 years?
Yeah, in a few years.
Yeah, I mean, Disney, is not just Mickey Mouse anymore. It's a huge company. It's a tech measure. So, of course, they're keeping an eye on the future trends. Mojo actually is quite confident that in a few years can deliver the first product. The first product is just a smart contact lens, mostly dedicated to prosumers, athletes, people with problems in the eyes that can help with the vision, etc. But again, if a first version of the product is available in maybe 3 years, I don't know, maybe in 15 we are already at the 4th edition, and maybe it's something more consumer. So Disney should start experimenting with it now, I guess, because they must be ready or what is available in the future. I will do the same if I could.
And now let's talk about the headset. Magic Leap 2.
Yeah, that was the second highlight I wanted to tell you, because it was crazy. You know, in the past I've been very critical against the Magic Leap because they created so much hype, and the headset was not bad. It was a HoloLens basically. So the only problem is that they overhyped as if it was an HoloLens 4 and actually was an HoloLens 1. So probably people got too disappointed. Now we all know that the company has changed its CEO, it changed the attitude, to become very more practical, much more well organized, because the CEO that is now Peggy Johnson is a previous Microsoft executive, is a very practical woman. So the company has really steered away. I know that Ronnie Abovitz say that the Magic Leap 2 actually was being designed by the people that already worked in the HoloLens on the Magic Leap 1. So he says that he's still married also of the old team. And this can be true. I don't say no, but I think that the merit of the new CEO is the attitude. He's saying, okay, this is a device, it's meant just for enterprise. Let's not dream. Let's be honest about what it can do and what it cannot do. And when I tried it, actually, I wasn't expecting much. I was expecting a better Magic Leap 1. And I was surprised to say that actually it's a very good headset. It's not perfect, it's not the moment for AR to be perfect, but it's very good. And I remember there was there with another YouTuber that was there at AWE, and we're like, I tried the Magic Leap 2. He said, me too. I said, I can't believe it. It's better than HoloLens 2. I said, yes. I can't believe that I can say something similar. And I know that HoloLens 2 is pretty old, so it's quite normal that technology has gone forward. But I was impressed that really, I think the Magic Leap 2, if we remove the fact that the HoloLens is still all-in-one and the Magic Leap 2 instead is made in, let's say, all-in-2, is an external computational unit. But the field of view is cool in the sense that it's less than the field of view of a VR headset. But for the first time, I saw a field of view of an AR headset that is acceptable. That really is not something that you say, I have just a tiny window. You say, okay, it's not my full vision, but it's something I can work with. Because they made this vertical field of view, and it seems as being probably the right choice. So I tried it for a few minutes, and I can say that I was positively impressed by the field of view that is usable in my opinion. And the other thing is the so-called dimming. That basically means that the lenses of the Magic Leap 2 can either totally or in part become opaque, become black. It's not a perfect black, but let's say almost. And it's cool because if you make a part of the lens black, the augmentations become fully opaque, so they're not transparent anymore. And also if you make all the lenses black, basically the headset becomes a bit of VR headset, not as good as a VR headset, but more or less. So I think it added some interesting features that can be useful also for other future headsets. So I think that for enterprise use and for developers, prosumers, is something that can be interesting. So it's going to launch very soon. I read yesterday, so it's interesting.
Yeah, end of September, right? It's something.
Yeah, 30 September for $3,300 for the basic version, $5,000 for the Enterprise Pro version, with more, warranty, more services, and blah, blah,
the
blah.
same approach of the HoloLens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they really wanted to compete also on the price. It's okay, it costs $200 less than the HoloLens, and we have a better technology now. So Microsoft is not going to have an easy time also because, the rumors about the HoloLens are not very positive. So
about the virtual realities, did you see new devices, interesting device?
Honestly, regarding virtual reality, I don't remember having tried something super meaningful. I put again on the Vario XR3, and it's a good headset, but it has more distortions than in the lenses that people think, but it's anyways a very solid device. And there was also a company, I don't remember the name, was a startup proposing some kind of new...
VR?
No, was proposing more something like a new cardboard for iPhone or something like that. And some people tried it and said it was quite cool. I've not tried it myself. It was like a cardboard but made in plastic with all a weird shape. We put the iPhone inside, and it was able to do AR and VR thanks to the LiDAR. And in the hand you had the controllers that look like those things that use in the kitchen to turn on the fire, you know. And that was the controller, and I haven't tried it too. So maybe when I manage to try it, I can tell you my opinion about that.
Now I'm just reading about news or maybe speculation about new devices from Meta. What do you think about the technology shared from the CEO via demos?
Our friend Mark Zuckerberg. So the Zuckers, I think that Meta is doing a good marketing. Sometimes he always finds something to say every week about the companies. It's a continuous marketing push. So they keep the attention of the people in the community high. And I guess they wanted to show some technologies they have inside for two reasons. One, to show that whatever Apple released, they are working also on it. And the second is also to show the investors why they're wasting. They're investing 10 billions every year in research and development for the Metaverse. So I think it was a strategic decision to share those prototypes. And I found them quite interesting. You know, it's the experimenting, trying to improve all the parts of what compose a headset, make it lighter, give it super resolution, make it more immersive audio, and all this kind of stuff. What surprised me a bit was all the topic about the HDR. Because even Norman by Tested, that is the only person outside Meta that has been able to try these devices, was quite impressed by it. So you can put this headset. I don't remember now the code name of it, something with Bright or something like that, and it had a super high HDR levels. So the headset was able to create, let's say, very bright zones when there was a zone of the image that represented something that is lit. So you can really perceive the lit zones of the image as something truly lit by the display, while the ones that were dark were truly dark. Zuckerberg said it is one of the most important features, and the journalists agreed that it was something quite unique and new. And you consider that now we don't have HDR in any headset. It's going to come for the first time in the new PSVR 2. And the cool stuff is that what should avoid this kind of HDR is that now when you look to a headset, it's a bit like when you see a picture of something. Even if I take a picture of the sun, it's not that when I see the picture, it is bright for my eyes. I just see something that is white or yellow. While with HDR, the idea is that this becomes more realistic. When you make the representation of the sun in VR, it really burns your eyes, basically. Maybe not that way, it will be dangerous, but it really becomes strong to be seen. So that should increase a lot the level of realism. And really, I'm very curious to try something like that because I never did it in my life.
Now let's talk about the 3D display.
Yeah, it's interesting that at AWE I was able to try 3 3D displays, one by Sony, one by Leia, and the other one was the Looking Glass. That is the first time that I was able to try the Looking Glass in real life. And it's pretty interesting that there is a lot of investments in that. But for people that are listening to me, I'm not talking about 3D displays like the old 3D TV where you have glasses and you see something. But we're talking about displays like the old Nintendo 3DS. So something that without glasses, you look at display, you see things in 3D, maybe popping towards your eyes or things like that. And they're very, I said that there was very interesting experience. It's cool, for instance, of the layer screens that they can showcase both 2D and 3D elements. So you can have a 2D page, you can see both the web like now, and then maybe you have a special page that makes 3D objects pop up from the display. This is very, very cool. And regarding the looking glass, I remember having heard a lot about it, but never trying it. So finally, I've been able to try it. It's like a box made, it's called a looking glass because it looks like a glass box. It's not very original as a name. And looking inside it, you can see videos and photos with 3D effect. And if you choose the right content to showcase in this kind of box, it's pretty cool because the resolution is very high. You don't need any kind of glasses, but what is kind of special compared with the other displays is that you have many vantage points. And this means that if for a layer tablet, you can be just you looking at the 3D content because there is a camera tracking where you are and basically changing the rays of the screen so that they arrive into your eyes. That looking glass has different points where you can stay and see the content in 3D. So you can put it in front of a shop, and even 20 people together can see from different points of view the 3D objects that is inside, the 3D video or 3D picture. So it's going to be pretty crazy. And at the festival that was after the AWS, I remember it was Tribeca or something like that. They presented a new display like that, quite huge, like 60. I don't remember now the unit
60
measures of
inches.
the 60 inches. Okay, thank you. I had the Italian name in mind and I couldn't come with the English one. So like 65 inches or something like that. It's pretty big 3D display where they showcase like a new storytelling content. So it's something that you have to see because it's just to finish talking about the looking glass. It was cool because I thought it was an enclosed box. But when I spoke with a representative of Looking Glass, you can say you can put your hands inside. I was like, what? And I put my hands, and actually there is no front glass. It's just an empty box. But for the reflections and all the rest, it seems that there is something close in the box. So it's a bit magical. And as a gift, since there is also the small version to contain portraits, can also be good, Christmas is so close, so maybe you can think about it.
Yeah, me
Gian
and
and I-
Clemente, we bought it from a few months ago. It was, and we have the little one.
Do you like it?
Yeah, you need to have the content, the right content to showcase. But some that is very specific, done well for that specific device, it looks very cool.
Yeah, totally good.
And any rumors about Apple glasses?
I can quote my previous April's Fool when I wore some sunglasses and told all the community I was trying the Apple glasses. It was pretty fun. But I know what people know on the web, plus something slightly more, but not that much. What is sure at this point, since there are too many rumors, and what I've learned in my life, when there are too many rumors saying the same thing, usually that thing is true. So it's true. It's almost sure that now Apple is working on this hybrid AR and VR headset. Probably that will feature this M2 chip inside, and that should allow for some interesting activities. I keep hearing that there can be some cool stuff they're working on and some integrations with other Apple products and blah blah blah, but no one really has come out with a rumor saying everything about these Apple glasses. We don't even know if actually they will really launch them, because sometimes Apple cancels projects before launching them, like all big companies. So we'll see. I still think that they will launch them next year just to experiment with this new field. But I also spoke with other people that are more expert about Apple, and not all of them are convinced that Apple wants to invest now in this device. Some say probably they're just, testing the waters because they really want to invest in AR later. So AR is their goal, and Tim Cook has never hidden that. He said AR is the future. We want to invest in AR. So this mixed MR headset, I'm not so sure is what they will invest on so much, hoping we will sell so many millions of units. Probably is just to start putting an Apple on some mixed reality device and start getting data from the users and so on, testing the various SDKs before making the big launch. That's my opinion, but there are some people in the community with a different opinions and think that everyone is going to rush to the stores to buy the new MR headset. So I don't know. But for sure, I know that Apple is working on some cool stuff related to AR and VR, and we started seeing them when they launched even ARKit. It's they basically revolutionized the mobile AR field. So they have a good expertise about these technologies inside. So I'm pretty confident that when they release something, at least our tech people will think it will be cool.
And
Go ahead, Johnny.
I have a question related to how to. I was reading some rumors about these Apple devices and how to make it look the view realistic. So they're talking about AI to produce photogrammetry content. So probably you heard also Nvidia, Nerf technologies. Yeah. What do you think about this trend on building scenes and photorealistic using few shots from photos and using the AI to generate?
Well, it's a field in which you know more than me, for sure, because I know that. But I'm, of course, keeping myself a bit updated about that. And I think that, even if you remove Apple from the equation, I think it's a very interesting field because I see that there is a lot of work on 3D reconstruction from Nvidia that is quite impressive. I remember one of the last papers they went on like many hours to create a content from 2 seconds or whatever. It was like a huge improvement of an order of magnitude. All the nerve stuff is also quite cool. It's a different approach from the one that people had until now, that is like reconstruction in 3D of everything. It's just, I don't care how is the 3D of the scene, basically just make you navigate into it thanks to AI. I think it will have its application in AR and VR. Honestly, I still don't from what I've seen in the research, if I have to say point of view, I see it's something that's super cool, but I still can't imagine exactly what's the disruptive application that uses it inside VR or AR or something like that. So I don't know if they are going to mix it with other technologies like social VR or whatever to create something incredible. So in that case, I'm more waiting to see what are the ideas, but I think it will be, a cool tool, because when I see the demos, I never tried it myself, but when I see the video demos on internet, it's impressive. I can shoot a few pictures of this room and maybe you can enter into it without having me scanning everything. But the problem, the task is, okay, but what's next? I mean, okay, you enter inside my room and what do we do? Because you don't have the 3D objects inside. So you can't interact with anything. Maybe after there is another AI that slowly reconstruct all the 3D objects, maybe. But it's this is what I want to understand. As a user, it's cool, but I want something more.
I agree with you. There is a wow effect, but of course, after the wow, I can use it. It's useful. Anyway, talking about high resolution contents, I'm thinking about new services for like cloud rendering. What do you think about?
Well, I've seen that one of the trends of AWS, I saw many companies working with cloud rendering. And, was one of the buzzwords like, oh, I made this great world, all streamed in web via cloud rendering. Look, and then they moved inside this virtual world, and then big blocks appeared because the Wi-Fi was terrible, and so cloud rendering was not working well. And they were saying me, no, but trust me, it works. And it was a bit embarrassing, all the situation, because. And I think it shows the pros and the cons of cloud rendering. Is the pro is that it's super cool because you can have on whatever device, even on your mobile phone, maybe on your smartwatch, in a VR headset. You have very high quality virtual reality because it's trained from the cloud. And I tried it in myself on the HoloLens, I tried it on the Quest via 5G plus Wi-Fi. And when it works, it's impressive because you really can play Half-Life Alyx on your Quest with something streamed from a remote server. So it's super cool. But on the other side, there is always the same question. How do you guarantee low latency everywhere you go with this cloud rendering? So, and AWE was a proof of that. The internet was not working well, and so all the cloud rendering stuff was not working well. I have spoken about this with Nvidia, and they say that they are working with internet service providers to make tests about latency, about bandwidth, about how many edge servers we will need in the future to have cloud rendering everywhere. So it's something that is still being studied. Again, there are people that say cloud rendering is going to be limited to some application, it's never going to happen in the mainstream. Others say cloud rendering in 5 to 10 years is going to be everywhere and is going to revolutionize all our field. And honestly, I don't know what is the answer because I'm waiting for Nvidia to perform these tests and to understand the real feasibility and real conditions about cloud rendering. I see that, as I said, is one of the trends where people are investing to show that they are already projected into the future. Personally, I think I see it like in alpha, in beta. I know that there are some services like Plutosphere that lets you play games in cloud rendering on the Quest, for instance, and it somewhat works for most people. But sometimes you have latency, sometimes you have lag, so it's not something production ready. It's something that if you're a geek like us, you can play with it and accept the glitches. If you are the average consumer and you want something that works out of the box without flaws, it's not ready. That's my opinion. But I'm quite confident it's going to be interesting for the future. So keep an eye on it.
And about the buzzword Metaverse?
The M word, Well, let's put it this way. I don't like all this blabbering about Metaverse. So suddenly, from after Zuck announcement, everybody's become a Metaverse expert on LinkedIn, and it's going to be pretty stupid in my opinion, all this talking about the Metaverse. But on the other side, is bringing investments in our field, is bringing interest, is bringing business. So let's say it's a necessary evil, probably, is at the end of the day is being good. And I think that no one has a clear definition of the Metaverse. I don't have it either. But if we talk about our future, that is a mix of realities, having the mixed, all the shades of the reality virtuality continuum that you can choose in every moment of your life, going in VR, meet with some friends, or seeing other people with you in AR around you is what we are dreaming of since many years. So I really think that sooner or later is going to happen. The problem is when, but I'm sure it's not going to happen this year or next one, probably 15 years or something like that. So we have to be very patient and don't believe the buzz and work for it to work out, trying to solve the technical issues like the networking, like the rendering and all the stuff. And people
And
like
also,
us.
Yeah, and also solve or try to solve the idea of one metaverse or multi-metaverse that can work together. Let's say. This is
Yeah,
another big issue.
yeah. The interoperability between the platforms in the metaverse is a hot topic, and you're completely right on that. And here there are, business reasonings that people want to have walled gardens, but other people, users want open platforms. Now there is also the European Union that has said that platforms shouldn't be too closed. So maybe this will help in having more open metaverse whenever it will happen. So yeah, we need something that is as open as possible, because otherwise it's like now, you have an identity in every platform. You can't communicate with people on other platforms. It's so closed. It's boring.
At the moment,
Yeah.
a different definition by Microsoft, Meta, Nvidia, etc. So I agree with you. It's time to define a unique definition and to understand if our goal is a unique verse or multiverse. It's like a Marvel, maybe.
And
Yeah.
MCU.
Yeah. The multiverse of chaos, and so this is the metaverse of chaos. Let's say.
We have a lot of chaos in the metaverse now, so it makes sense. Anyway, I think that at the end of the day, you can call it how you want, because there is this debate between who says metaverse and platforms or words inside the metaverse, and who says metaverses or multiverse, and then metaverse to identify the platform. So there is a bit of debate even on the name. So we can't even agree on that. We technicians, said a friend of mine, how can we expect average people to understand the metaverse if we ourselves don't have a definition? So it's fun.
I wanted to play like in Ready Player One. I believe the same for you, Jan.
Yeah, I think that there is a potential there. There's a lot of stuff to make it working together. I think that I saw a video about a tech guy that tried to implement Ready Player One universe, let's say, experience. Did you see it?
Yeah, also Clemente shared it with me, so that was how one of the way I discovered that video that is made by Thrill Seeker, that is a famous YouTuber. Also my team at AW, by the way. He's a nice guy. And he tried to recreate the most realistic VR setup now. So he put haptic gloves, haptic shoes.
Do you remember how many dollars he invested in this project?
I don't remember. It was dozens of thousands, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money to have the most advanced headset, the shoes, and all of this. And then the software was not working, and he was really super stressed during working in this. But what surprised me of that video more than the hardware, that I already knew almost all those devices, is the reaction he had trying it, because he managed for some minutes to have the real experience in a VR chat world, to have really feel sensations in all the body, with the smells, with the vibrations, with the sight. And he basically got crazy. So the brain told him to start running, because for him was so realistic. He had to, I don't know even how to say that, he had to run. He couldn't describe it. And that part of the video surprised me, because Thrill Seeker is a VR YouTuber. So he tries VR every day. So I know that this kind of videos are always try to be more entertaining. So maybe part of it is part of the entertainment. But he was really, I guess he was really, he was really trying those weird sensations and want to tell us, because even he was so used to VR, trying all these VR stimuli on all his body at the same time, really drove him crazy for some minutes. And that was something now I'm curious to try because I'm crazy as well. So I would like to see how it is, and if I maybe since I'm already crazy, I get back to normal. I don't know. So let's see.
Now, let's jump to another field, the DMA, Digital Markets Act. Do you know something about this?
Yeah, it's a law that the European Union is carrying on to basically limit the power of American tech major companies. And, it's going to be another revolution like the GDPR has been, because, and this is going to be pretty huge, especially against Apple for what they're doing. So they are forcing companies to open up their ecosystems. And so, apart from more laws about the privacy, for instance, they are asking big companies that have a store to not force their own store on their own devices. So Apple should allow for at least side loading on Apple devices, something that has never happened. And this means that also the future headset probably should allow side loading. This could be pretty cool, especially for products like SideQuest. Then they ask to allow developers to use other means to sell stuff to users. So until now, if I had an application or Meta, for instance, on the Quest, and I want to sell a gadget, a virtual gadget for the avatars inside the application, I should use Oculus in-app purchases system. And Oculus gets 30% of cut of what I'm selling inside the application. The European Union is saying no. If the developer wants to sell the items via the web, via credit card, or via direct sales, he should be able to do that. So this can be again another little revolution. If you think about the battle that Epic had with Apple about exactly this, and someone says that the battle of Epic was not much for Fortnite, but about the power of the metaverse. Because if in the metaverse everything sold Apple gets 30% cut, means that everything we do in our life, basically, Apple gets 30% cut. So that's going to become pretty dystopic. And so Epic someone says that is for that battle, also for that. And now the European Union is basically saying you can't do that. And this could open up even more all the platforms. And another thing that the European Union is asking is interoperability between applications like messaging systems. Someone says that the law could ask, for instance, Meta to let WhatsApp be interoperable with Telegram or something like that. It could be, mind-blowing for all of us, because until now they're all walled gardens. So it's not clear if they're allowing just that for small platforms, because the articles talk about big platforms that allows more interoperability with small platforms, and Telegram is not small. But who knows when the final law will be out, if this is what will be the actual requirement, what could be the interpretation of people working on it, etc., etc. But again, imagine this with all the interoperability things we're talking about the metaverse. So if they are asking for interoperability of messaging system, for sure they will ask for interoperability also of virtual worlds sooner or later. So that's why the Europe maybe is trying to create a more healthy tech ecosystem. Someone says that Apple says that is stifling innovation and this kind of stuff. But for sure, having a more open ecosystem can only be beneficial, I think. So I think it's a good law in the end, but let's see how also it will be implemented by these companies, because for sure they will do the most that they can to just adhere to what the law exactly says, and not even wanting more, just to keep their power. So let's see what is going to happen. But I'm thinking this can be cool now for what we have now and what we'll have later also.
If I remember well, the text of a DMA should be adopted in September or maybe in next October. So
Yes.
soon
And-
we will see the results.
Yeah, and then companies have like 6 months to
1 year. Yeah, 6 months to 1 year.
6 months to do something, and then other 6 months to comply. So they have more or less 1 year to comply. But 1 year is 2023, is so close. So let's see what will be the effects, because it's going to be pretty disruptive, I think.
Yeah, so for example, looking to some most common sectors, web browser, Google Chrome, the share of the European market is 60%. Google search 95%. Of course, in the search sector. And looking to the table with all this value, it's very incredible. And a company like Microsoft, Google, Meta, but also Amazon, Netflix, Spotify have a lot of job to do.
Yes. Yeah. Let's hope it will be for the good of all the digital world. I think it was needed since a lot, honestly.
Okay, before closing this first side chat, I would to ask you if there is a new game that you think it's a best buy.
A new game. Oh,
Of course,
wow.
in AR, VR, XR sector.
Oh my god, this is something I.
Nothing with something that can shock my body, of course.
Yeah. Well, honestly, if I have to talk about me, apart making promotion for Hit Motion Reloaded, the game we're building, what I'm pretty interested in that is coming soon in August is Red Matter 2 that is coming for the Quest and PCVR. I loved Red Matter 1. Was really a very good looking game on the Quest 1. It had also very intriguing story. The second episode promises to be quite cool as well, and they are hinting for the best graphics we have ever seen on a mobile headset. So I'm curious to see how these graphics are, because they already did a great job for Red Matter 1, and they even rewrote a part of the rendering pipeline in Unreal Engine to obtain it. So I think
It
that
seems
we're going to
promising.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
Very
promising. And so it's August. I don't remember the exact day, or like 19th or something like that. So let's keep an eye on Red Matter 2.
Great. Thank you. Now, let me remember that you can read about news in this field. So AR, VR, XR on the Anthony's blog, scaredghost.com. Of course, you can follow him also on Twitter at scaredghost, if I remember well.
Yes.
You can follow Gianni with at GianniRG, and me with at Tinux80. Thank you, everyone. For any comments, we will answer as soon as possible. Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.